Today, we are going to talk about the differences and similarities between driving a boat and driving a car. Welcome to At the Helm. The first difference is that a car has brakes that you can depress to slow the vehicle down and bring it to a stop. A boat doesn't have brakes. Even when you pull back on the throttle, you are still going to be being carried with momentum either forward or astern based on the speed you had previous to pulling back on the throttle. This is something that we must always keep in mind when driving a boat. When we drive a car, generally we select our direction of travel and we head in that direction without any outside influence affecting our direction of travel. This is not the case on a boat. We must always account for wind and current and the direction that they're coming from in relation to where we are trying to go. And based on these directions, the impact can either be positive or negative on our direction of travel. Another difference is that a boat floats on water and a car rests on land. This means that relatively speaking, a car has a higher level of stability when resting on land as opposed to a boat that's floating on water. Stability is a very important factor that we must always keep in mind when we determine loading our vessels with people and gear, and also being selective about the weather conditions that is appropriate for the size and type of vessel that we have when we're going out for a particular day. One similarity between the two is that if a boat is equipped with a steering wheel, just like a car, if you turn the wheel to the left, the boat will go left, and if you turn the wheel to the right, the boat will go right. However, boats do also have additional forms of steering. You can have a handlebar, like on a personal watercraft or jet ski. You can have what's called a tiller arm that's connected directly onto the engine. You usually find these on smaller dinghies. And also for the more modern boat, you have a joystick. While we're on the topic of steering, cars are steered from the front using their front wheels. Boats are steered from the back using a rudder or a jet nozzle. In the case of an outboard, you steer by turning the entire engine because the propeller is fixed to the body of the outboard. Whether operating a boat or a car, we must always remain vigilant of our environment and observe others. This allows us to navigate the spaces safely. However, on boats, this level increases greatly because not only are you at a potential of hitting other boaters, but you can also strike objects that are submerged partially underneath the surface, or you can run aground. And running aground simply means that your vessel, the bottom of it, comes into contact with the seabed. These can result in you taking on water and potentially sinking or damaging your propulsion system. Generally speaking, most people can travel in vehicles and never ever experience motion sickness. However, on a boat, when your entire trip can consist of the boat rocking back and forth or pitching up and down, you are at a higher risk of getting motion sickness. The last thing I want to touch on for today is exposure to the sun. Generally, when we drive in our cars, we are less exposed to the sun as we do when we're out on a boat. So we need to take great care to apply some sort of sunscreen to provide protection from the sun, or if you have availability of shade, to remain in the shade for most of your trip. You need to understand your environments that you're going into, and this here just gives you a little insight into what most people experience. Thank you for watching At the Helm. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more safe boating content.